This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, a local man will be providing live coverage of a major event in Washington, D.C. Stay tuned for the full story. It's the middle of the work week and you are watching FYI on SSPTV. Thank you for that. I'm Ken Kara and let's get to our headlines from FYI News 13 and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. Firefighters responded to a 2-alarm blaze at the Northumberland County Prison in Sunbury. The fire broke out around 2 this afternoon. There are reports that some 200 inmates were evacuated under heavy guard. Pictures on Facebook show heavy smoke coming from the building. No word on a cause or damage caused by the fire. Locally, Hazleton police are investigating 3 attempted robberies, all 3 involving a maroon van and a gun. The first incident happened Monday just before 8 p.m. in the area of Grand Central. According to police, a maroon, newer model minivan approached the victims. The van's driver brandished a firearm and pointed it at the victims, demanding them to empty their pockets. The van then fled east. Then 2 similar incidents took place last night around the same time, 8 p.m. Police received a walk-in complaint of an attempted robbery. The victim, a 28-year-old man from Hazleton, was walking in the area of Spruce and Locust Streets when he was approached by 2 males in a maroon minivan. One suspect pulled a gun and pointed it at the victim, demanding money. The victim told the men he had none, and the van fled north on Locust Street. The victim was not injured. The third incident happened about 7 minutes later in the 700 block of McNair Street when a 36-year-old man from Hazleton was walking. The victim was approached by 2 men in a maroon minivan. Again, one man pulled a gun and pointed it at the victim. The victim got away unharmed and nothing was stolen. Anyone with information on any of the incidents is asked to call Hazleton Police, or you can dial 911. All reprise will be kept confidential. Someone gained entry into 21 separate storage units in Hazel Township, making off with a variety of items. State Police at Troop N in Hazleton tell us that it happened sometime between 10 a.m. Sunday and 9 a.m. Monday at the Axis Self-Storage, 1000 South Church Street in Hazel Township. A variety of items were taken from the storage units, including the motorcycle seen here in these photos. Other items taken included a Dell laptop computer, a Sony DVD player, Snap-on socket sets, and more. A complete list of victims and stolen property is being compiled. The suspects fled the scene undetected. The investigation is continuing, and anyone with any information is asked to call the Pennsylvania State Police at Hazleton, and that number is 570-459-3890. 3 people were injured in a head-on collision in Rush Township. According to Sergeant Dwayne Frederick of the Rush Township Police, it happened around 2:30 Tuesday afternoon at the intersection of Claremont Avenue at Fairview Street. These are photos courtesy of TamaquaArea.com. Police say that 58-year-old Kevin Quirk of Hometown was traveling south in a 2001 Dodge when 52-year-old Ricardo Rinkiewicz of Tamaqua turned into the path of Quirk. Rinkiewicz was attempting to turn onto Fairview Street from Claremont Avenue. 54-year-old Anthony Androkidis of Tamaqua was a passenger in Quirk's vehicle. All 3 were injured. 1 week from today marks the annual March for Life in our nation's capital. FYI's Lisa Sugar talked with one man who plans to bring the march to you.
This year marks the 42nd anniversary of the March for Life in our nation's capital. It will be taking place on January 22nd. It also marks the 2nd year for a live video stream from Washington, D.C. for a program that is entitled A Matter of Life, and it originates right here from the Hazleton area. Here to tell us all about it is Don Gallade, who is the producer of Riversong Productions, which is the company that is producing A Matter of Life, this program that is taking place. Don, I can't believe 42 years that this march has been going on in our nation's capital, and you've been going to it for how long?
I've been going 18 years. It's amazing that the face of the march has changed. It's actually getting younger, which is neat. There's more and more youth at the event than there was in previous years, which is very exciting.
Now, your organization, your company, Riversong Productions, very pro-life, you actually made a movie entitled The Voice of John, and I know many people are familiar with that as we've told them about it, but for anyone who may not be, give a little background on that.
Well, A Voice of John stems from our executive producer and a woman who's also the president of Pennsylvanians for Human Life in the Hazleton chapter, Marianne Lahan. And the story is she stumbled across a botched abortion in 1976, and she thought it was a a mistake that they just left this child there. But it was actually an abortion that was left there to die. People can go to voiceofjohn.org and actually watch the film for free. It's still hosted on that site. From there, we realized that John's work wasn't done, and Riversong Productions, which was the parent company of the film, which is a 501c organization, which we had a fight to get, and thanks to our representative Barletta, he helped us get their 501c status. But from there, we started an actual full-blown network, faith-based network. So A Matter of Life is the pro-life entity, the pro-life show from Riversong Productions, which is one of many shows we're producing currently.
All right, now this is the second year you're doing this live stream. So tell us what will be taking place on January 22nd as the march against the decision Roe versus Wade back in 1973 legalized abortion. What will you be streaming that day?
Okay. The liberal media will not portray the truth. You know, some years there's 200,000 to 300,000 people there, and you know, the TV stations that our networks in our areas will say a couple thousand people showed up. In the 18 years I'm going, I can literally count the number of protesters I've seen, but that's what they'll film and that's what they'll show. So the goal is for us to show an actual legitimate portrayal of hundreds of thousands of people walking and praying. That's what it's about. It's not a protest. We're praying to have our nation's leaders wake up and realize that an abortion is a symbolism of our country that has turned its back on God. So we need to change the laws, but we also need to change minds, and we need to educate.
Now, you're here today so people will know to watch this live stream, which they can go to rsptv.com, riversongproductionstv.com, to watch this stream. And also, you're going to have Carol Tobias, the president of the National Right to Life organization, as one of your commentators along with Mary Ann Lawn. So this is going to cost a lot of money to do this, and you're a nonprofit organization, so you need some help.
Absolutely. As I said, we are 501c, so anybody who decides that they wanted to be partner with us, the donations are tax deductible. So if somebody feels led that they want to partner with us, they can actually go to riversongproductions with an S.org, and there's a partner tab, and they can help us out. It'd be awesome.
I'm sure we'll be having some clips from it as well here on FYI. So, Dawn, good luck in your march on the 22nd of January, and we'll be looking forward to see what you produce that day. Thank you. And I also just want to thank this station because of, as I mentioned, there are very, very few outlets that we have that will portray the truth. And News 13 and Sam Lassant Productions have always been in our court and have backed us, and we just appreciate what you guys do to help us make our jobs easier. Our pleasure. Thank you very much. Dawn Gallade from Riversong Productions.
Thank you, Lisa. Now, here's what our media partner, the Standard Speaker, is working on for tomorrow's edition. As expected, former Hazleton Mayor John Quigley has been nominated for DEP Secretary, and you could read that story tomorrow in Thursday's edition of the Standard Speaker. There'll be much more details. Later on FYI, it's Dave Day, and Dave Seaman, the sports editor from the Standard Speaker, will help us wrap up college football season and Hazleton area's big win over Crestwood in boys basketball. And when we come right back, learn what the color of the year is as Janine and Tamara continue their post-holiday season segments on What's the Sense.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
All right, so what do you think the color of the year is? There actually is a color of the year, and tomorrow is going to tell us what that color is.
Soon.
I already know what it is, so I can't say.
And it's exciting. It's like my favorite part of the year.
I know,
I'm like a
like
little kid.
kids.
It's like, when's the color of the year? I almost attacked the Pantone guy in Lowe's the other day.
And will you like it? I'm always like, oh, well, I like the color of the year because then you see it everywhere come spring.
And it's a big thing in fashion, too.
Mm-hmm. So think about what you think the color of the year is. But, you know, we're back with tomorrow, and we're talking this year. We changed direction. We're talking more about interior designing because that's what tomorrow focuses on and it specializes in. And you can actually get a free consultation, right?
Absolutely. Yep, right. We're going to have my number at the end of the segment. So just call me and just call me with any ideas. I could definitely email you some little questionnaires, do a little home analysis.
Yes.
Do it for yourself. I have lots of things I could send you.
I just snag her and bring her to my house and say decorate, do whatever you want. So all right, we're talking about color.
Color, and color is huge with stimulating. Color is very important, and there's a rule with color. There's actually, it's called the rule of 3.
Okay.
And your 3, you should use a 60-30-10, they call it. So 60% of your room should be a main color.
Okay.
30% should be a primary color.
Okay.
And 10% should be like your contrasting.
Your accents?
Yeah,
Okay.
and texture. Texture is huge with color too. And just, I'll show you a couple pictures soon of how just throwing some texture with different lighting can really make the room pop. Paint something. Use the color, just use an old, get a piece of furniture or pillows or fabric, or just change and put some color in your room.
Right.
It's gonna, yellows are warm. Your home is yellow.
Love
Yellow is warm. Your reds and your oranges are more of a tone. Blue's kind of a sad and gray, but you can pop it with yellow and orange and green, and so color is important. So use that. Look around your house and just move stuff around.
Yeah, some people are afraid to work with color, and I go in and all their house is white or cream because they're afraid to work with color. And I said, you can paint over it.
There are no rules.
Don't be afraid to paint.
And you can always change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see some examples of how you can work with color.
Okay, one thing I will, this is a color palette.
All right.
And this is all, when you go into your Lowe's, and you'll see your primary colors and how you can blend them and what they, you'll use, if you use your 3, a red and an orange with a purple and a green. Like
I feel like I'm in 6th grade art class
No,
again.
but really it's important that they blend right.
Right.
Because that's a lot of people struggle with color because they don't know.
Right.
Get a palette.
Okay.
And that will tell you, okay, this is going to go with this and that's going to go with that.
All right.
This, I love the palettes. They painted them purple, but this is white, but it's just adding a little bit of green and color there. There's yellow.
Love it.
With some red.
Love it.
I love yellow. It's so
It's such a
fresh.
cheerful color.
Now there's your blue, and you see how they just put a little yellow in there to pop the room, some flowers. Here's your textures. Your textures, you see the room has the bamboo blinds. You'll see all the different textures of the room add to your color, and will pop, see how the texture here will just add warmth to your room. Here's another one, texture.
Now this is a little more gutsy with using the green, the reds, and the yellow.
Now here's the brick wall. You see with the different textures in the rugs and the pillows. And then here's it's a little rusticy, a little edgy. It's gray, but I mean, you could add some color in there and pop. Here's the color of the year.
Oh, you're telling them already. The color of the year is what?
Okay. The color of the year is Marsala.
Marsala, great for this area, right? Marsala is the color of the year. Yeah, how do they pick these colors?
I don't know, but it's a beautiful color. It's
It is.
deep, like a rich wine, and there's the texture with the color included.
And you know what? That's a color that at least everyone can look good in.
Yeah.
It
These
goes
are
with
just
a lot of different skin tones and a lot of different, color palettes if you're looking at decorating your home, as you're seeing here on the slides.
Right.
It's not lime green, so I'm happy. It's
Right.
I like lime green, but for the color of the year, Marsala is nice. Next week, what are we going to focus on?
Next week, we are talking about let it glow and reflect on it. It's
All right.
mirror and lighting.
All right, join us every Wednesday right here on FYI.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
I guess I need a Marsala tie as well. Let's take a look now at our weather shot. Now, over the next few days, we'll be giving you a glimpse of Greater Hazleton rails to trails during the winter and during our weather here on FYI. So enjoy this peaceful winter scene. And here comes your winter local forecast from the National Weather Service. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low around 13 degrees. On Thursday, the sun comes back, a high near 25. Thursday night will be mostly cloudy with a low around 16. Friday expect scattered flurries, but then mostly sunny sunny with a high near 26, kind of windy, with the wind going from 15 to 17 miles per hour. Friday night mostly clear with a low around 12. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high near 28. Saturday night partly cloudy, low of 22. Sunday, break out the sunscreen. There is a chance of showers. It will be mostly cloudy, so leave the sunscreen, but maybe you can take a layer off. The high will be 38. Sunday night, a chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy, low around 22 degrees. And tonight's forecast is brought to you by the Pines Eatery and Spirits in the Markle Building in downtown Hazleton. And on this cold day, it brings their tomato bisque with its unique zing to the table. Take the chill out and stop by the Pines soon. And before we go to break, here's your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers. The daily number 125, the big four 4582, Quinto 04340, Treasure Hunt 1, 6, 7, 20, and 29. When we come back, Dave Seaman from the Standard Speaker.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
You want to make a pick, or are you just going to go with what you said?
I'm going to say Ohio State. I'm going to say 31-24 Ohio State.
So the Buckeyes are celebrating a national championship at Ohio State, but really Dave Seaman should be the one dancing around and cheering. What a year for the sports editor from the Standard Speaker. Dave, in college football, almost every week you just seem spot on, and would have been even closer with the score if Ohio State doesn't score that last second touchdown. But the Buckeyes, very impressive. They did it with some smash mouth football, Ezekiel Elliott, some Big Ten football, if you will, showing there's some quickness as well. And is this a statement win for the Big Ten?
I think the whole postseason was a statement for the Big Ten. The top teams did well in bowl games, starting with Penn State winning, Michigan State coming back to beat Baylor, and then of course Ohio State was phenomenal. That three-game stretch they had, beating Wisconsin 59-0, coming to beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, and then what they did against Oregon the other night was fabulous on Ohio State's part.
I do agree with you. I think the Big Ten is further along than maybe some people think, including that Penn State program. And we'll get into that in one moment. But I also think you can't overstate it. There was a reporter, I think, for Blue White Illustrated who tweeted out, listen, I saw too many terrible football games in the Big Ten this year to say, hey, listen, the whole conference is on point. But, Dave, you said before we went on air, it must say something to the Nittany Lions who competed against this Ohio State team, be it before they had Cardale Jones and everything going on, but they were in the game there.
Arguably, Penn State could have won that game. A couple calls here, a couple calls there. Went against the Nittany Lions, but to Ohio State's credit, they did come back in overtime. They did step up defensively when they had to, and Ohio State pulled out the win. But for Penn State's perspective, if you're Coach James Franklin, you got to look at that and say to your team, this is how close we were to the national championship team. So I think they could take a lot out of that too moving forward.
Let's jump locally. We were both at the Hazleton area Crestwood boys basketball game. I'm calling them the Zombie Cougars. This team just doesn't give up. They just keep coming back at you. They did it again. They waited for Crestwood, like Coach Joseph said after the game, to kind of cool off with their shooting, and then they attacked. They were super aggressive. And what I thought was interesting, Dave, in those 3 overtime games, Coach Joseph after the game said, listen, we went with a smaller lineup. That's what got it done. And that's not to say some of the bigs didn't perform. I remember Nolan Janisevich having a big block in one of those games as well. But your thoughts on the Cougars?
That's a sign of this Cougar team, is that they're not going to go away very easily. And I think their depth allows them that. They might have a stretch or two in the game where they're not playing at their best. Coach Joseph has the luxury of having 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11 players he can go to, so he can go with the hot hand. In the recent case, it's been the defense that's been carrying the smaller players, and they've provided a spark, especially on the defensive end. And once the defense gets going, it allows easy baskets on the offensive end, and the Cougars could put up points in bunches.
Last thing, Dave, you nailed it in college football. I don't want to put you on the spot, but for the NFL, who do you have in the Super Bowl? Who do you think's going?
Well, I thought you were going to ask for my Hula Bowl pick, but the NFL, I think we'll go with the home teams. I think Seattle and New England look like to be the two best teams. New England had to come back against Baltimore this past week. Indianapolis historically hasn't had much success in New England playoff time. Of course, that was with Peyton Manning at the helm. Andrew Luck is playing well for the Colts right now, so we'll see. Seattle looks like to be hitting its stride at the right time, and I think they're going to repeat as champions.
All right, well, Dave, we always appreciate the insight. Make sure you keep a lookout for Dave's articles on the Hazleton area basketball team and the whole staff at the Standard Speaker for their coverage of local sports. It's Wednesday, and here's some delicious alliteration. It's signature steak night at Bottlenecks. All of their signature steaks are only $9.95, plus bottomless soup and salad for only $2.95.
News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Margaret Lorraine Murray, formerly of Freeland, memorial mass is Saturday at 10 a.m. at the St. Pius X Catholic Church in Bowie, Maryland. Pamela L. Scooch, formerly of Whitehaven, memorial is Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Lehman Family Funeral Service. Friends may call from 1 to 2 p.m. Josephine J. Vacanti of Hazleton. All services will be held privately and at the convenience of the family and under the direction of the Harmon Funeral Home. Thomas P. Cristino, formerly of Richmond, Virginia. Memorial Mass is Friday at 4 p.m. in St. Mary's Catholic Church. Edward L. Capus Sr. of Sugarloaf Township. Funeral is Friday at 9:30 a.m. from the Harmon Funeral Home. Friends may call Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Doris E. Starner, formerly of Freeland. Funeral is Friday at 11 a.m. from the Cotterall Petrilli Funeral Home. Friends may call Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Robert E. Anthony Sr. of Foster Township. Memorial is Saturday at 11 a.m. in the St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Friends may call Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Lehman Family Funeral Service. Louis A. Alfonso of Kidder Township. Memorial is Thursday at noon at the Lehman Family Funeral Service. Friends may call from 11 a.m. to noon. Marie J. D. Casadas of West Reading. Services are private and at the convenience of the family and under the direction of the Edward J. Kuhn Funeral Home. John C. Bush of Cunningham. Funeral is Saturday at 11 a.m. from the Harmon Funeral Home. Friends may call Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. Ira W. Buff of Hazleton. Services Friday at 11 a.m. at the Faith Assembly of God Church. Friends may call Friday from 10:30 to 11 a.m. Arrangements are under the direction of the Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home. Albert T. Kislin of Freeland. Funeral is Friday at 10 a.m. at the Good Shepherd Roman Catholic Church. Friends may call Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. Arrangements are under the direction of the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Susan Weber of Hazleton. Memorial is Saturday at noon from the Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home. And Eleanor Zakruski of Barnesville. Mass is Friday at 11 a.m. at the St. Richard's Church. Friends may call Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. The David D. Jarrett Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements.
My name is Leanne Falabelle. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, and today I'm going to talk about our upcoming Women's Networking Luncheon, which will be held on Tuesday, January 27th. We will be at Eddie's American Diner, which is the former Ferdinand's on 15th Street in Hazleton. And the program will run from 12 noon until 1 p.m. And our guest speaker is going to be District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis. And she's gonna bring some good information to us. All women from throughout Greater Hazleton are invited to attend. The program is $16 for members, $21 for non-members. It's being sponsored by Billy Helms Insurance. And the district attorney is just going to speak to us about what goes on in the DA's office from day to day. I was just speaking with her today, and she said that, you know, people don't realize all the activity that goes on, and it'll be just a very interesting program. And she's also going to touch upon how being a woman in a predominantly male environment, how she's handled that through her success as the DA so far. So it's going to be an interesting program. Again, we invite all women from throughout Greater Hazleton to attend. And if anybody's interested in registering or looking for more information about our program, they can go to our website, hazletonchamber.org, go to the calendar and click on January 27th, or they can simply call our office at 570-455-1509.
Did you miss the unveiling of the color of the year or any of our headlines? Well, go to the FYI archive on SSPTV.com for breaking news. Go to Facebook.com/FYI News 13 and or StandardSpeaker.com. Take it easy, everyone.